This is my take on the Jodi Arias trial. And I think if you watch it, you will agree that the ultimate question shouldn't be whether or not I have too much time on my hands, that much is obvious, but whether or not I should be institutionalized. Again. And I think you'll also agree with me that the electric shock treatments I had in 1972 had very little real therapeutic effect. However, as I like to say, I can now jumpstart your car. Anyway, without further ado, the trial. Please excuse me while I get into character. Snow White lived in a shack, didn't she? I thought she lived in a cute little cottage, Mr. Martinez. Did I ask you if she lived in a cottage, ma'am? Are you angry with me, Mr. Martinez, or is it the fairy tale that irritates you? Oh, does the demeanor or your perceived demeanor of the prosecutor affect how you answer the questions, ma'am? You're right, I'm sure I'm the only one who finds you to be a raving lunatic. We all know the defendant's a major nut job, but you're making her look like Snow White. Oh, so now I'm Snow White. No, I said the defendant. You're more like grumpy or wacky or really freaking angry. Have you considered anger management classes, Mr. Martinez? Do you understand how this works, ma'am? I ask the questions here. And you're doing a splendid job. Shall we move on now to Alice in Wonderland, or do you have more questions about Dopey and Sleepy? Do you want to answer the questions, ma'am, or do you prefer to spar with the prosecutor? I'm just concerned about your heart, Mr. Martinez. Did I ask you about my heart, ma'am? No. Is this funny to you, ma'am? No, of course not. But I find you a little amusing. Were you beaten with a wooden spoon as a child, Mr. Martinez? I was routinely beaten with a spiked baseball bat, ma'am. And I suppose you would consider that a form of abuse. Well, of course I would. And I suppose if a man beat his wife with a bat, you would consider that spousal abuse. Mr. Martinez, now you're being absurd. So now you're not only an expert on domestic violence, you're a psychiatrist. I just said you were being absurd. And you feel qualified to make this assessment? I think everyone is qualified, Mr. Martinez. You're a little freaky. I doubt your heart will make it another 5 years. So now we're back to the prosecutor's heart. Objection, relevance, mischaracterizes the witness's testimony, argumentative. Overruled. You can answer the question. Yes, I'm still concerned about your health, Mr. Martinez. Yes or no, ma'am? I said yes. Do you have trouble understanding the questions, ma'am? Well, yes, quite frankly, you are a little bizarre at times, Mr. Martinez, and you do get a little mixed up. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to answer the questions yes or no. I can't answer some of them yes or no. Judge, she's being uncooperative. Can you make her stop? Objection, the prosecutor's being a major nut job again? Oh boy. Sustained, overruled, no, let's have a sidebar.